Hello, it's Mrs. Dries from the Harrison Township Public Library. Welcome to another segment of Kids Can Cook, and today we are making shark bite candy with a shark in every bite. So when we get done today, our candy is going to look kind of like the ocean with sharks sprinkled all about it. So let me show you first of all what we're going to need in order to make our recipe today. First thing you'll need are some of these candy melts, okay? They're kind of like this. They're like the little discs. You can get them in different colors. If all you can find is like the white ones, you can always use food coloring because you're going to need some white and some blue. So if you can't find the blue, you're just going to need to add some food coloring to your white. This is perfect though, 1 bag of each. Next, you will need some gummy sharks. We can't have shark bite candy without sharks. And I'll show you what these guys look like. Dun, 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 dun. Here they go. So I found these, you can buy these at like a bulk food store, bulk where you have like the candy bins and stuff. You can also order them online. Same with the candy melts. You can buy them at most candy stores, bulk food stores, or online. The next thing you'll need, this is optional, but I think it kind of gives a nice finishing touch. I have a couple of packages of Pop Rocks, red Pop Rocks, so strawberry, cherry. You could also use red sprinkles. I chose Pop Rocks just because Pop Rocks are kind of fun to eat. So this is an optional thing. If you have them, use them. So that's it for our ingredients. Then we need our different things around the kitchen that we're going to need. We'll need 2 mixing bowls today. You need 2 spoons. You are going to need some kind of a tray, or you can use like a flat pan or a cookie sheet, something like that that has, it just needs to be flat. You could even use like a cutting board or something. And we're going to cover that with parchment paper. So you'll also need some parchment paper. And then we will need toothpicks, okay? And that should do it for our supplies. Now the first thing we need to do is melt our candy discs. So we're going to take each one, and each color is going to be dumped into a separate bowl. So I'll put my blue ones in here, and we'll put our white ones in here. And now we're going to use the microwave. So kids, if you are allowed to use the microwave by yourself, make sure you ask for permission. If you are not allowed to use the microwave by yourself, this would be the time to get the help of an adult. We're going to be melting these, and we want to be really careful to follow the directions on whatever package you bought. Because if you overcook these, they're going to get the wrong texture. They're going to get kind of goopy, and we're not going to be able to work with them. You probably also want to have an oven mitt when you go over to the microwave because your bowl may be hot when you're taking it out, and we definitely don't want any burns. Our little candy melts have been melted now, and so we're ready to put together our ocean, which will be the base for our sharks. So we've got to work kind of quickly when we do this because our candy is melted now and we don't want it to get hard just yet. So I'm going to be taking a spoon, and we're going to try to make kind of a square here with drops of it. So we're going to do like a dollop of blue, and then we're going to alternate and make kind of a pattern here. And then a dollop of white. And we're going to keep doing that, blue, white, until we have kind of a square or a rectangle, whatever kind of shape that you come up with is fine. Oops, I didn't have enough on my spoon that time. Do kind of big glops here. Get a lot on your spoon. If it's really melty, it might be kind of messy. It's okay if you get the colors you know, if there's drizzles of color that kind of land on each other, that is just fine because we're going to be kind of mixing these colors together in a minute. So now I'm going to kind of start going across here. I did a few that way. And we're going to, whoa, I got some real big drizzles there. My white is a little meltier than my blue because my blue has been out of the microwave for longer, so it's starting to get a little stiffer. If you notice that your candy is starting to harden up when you're doing this, you can pop it back into the microwave for just a few seconds. I wouldn't do the full 30 seconds, maybe just 10 seconds or so. So I am going to keep glopping this, and can you see how I kind of have a pattern here going blue, white, blue, white? Okay, I'm going to make like a grid, and I'll keep going here, and when I'm done, we'll do the next step. Now I have kind of a loose rectangle here. Put it up here so you can see. All right, see, so I have alternating colors all the way around. Now I kind of have big glops, so I'm just going to take my spoon and I'm going to kind of smush them down, okay? We're just going to kind of spread it around a little bit so I don't have those big, tall peaks of gloppiness here, and kind of smush them together a little bit. Kind of make it so it's a little flatter on top is what we're going for. Okay, so push those down. And now we're going to use another tool. I'm going to take a toothpick, and we are going to make some swirls in our ocean, okay? So if I hold it up here, we're going to just take our toothpick and swirl it around. And you can do this however you want, just to make it look cool and wavy and oceany. So keep in mind what color your sharks are. If your sharks are blue, like mine are, really blue, you're going to want to try to get more of the white color on top so that you'll be able to see the sharks better. So I'm kind of dragging some of my white on top of my blue to make some waves, and I think my sharks will show up a little bit better on top of it if they have white waves on top. You can kind of adjust your edges too here. If you want to make it look a little prettier, you can kind of smooth out your edges here and make a nice shape. However you want to design it. This is the creative part. And try to get kind of the same thickness all the way around. You don't want some parts to be really, really thick and some parts to be really, really thin. So you can just kind of push this around with your toothpick. Make some swirls and some curly cues. Make it look really cool. All right. You guys like my ocean here? Let's put it a little bit closer. So I have myself an ocean. And now we need some sharks. So just making my shape a little bit more even here. I think I kind of had kind of an awkward looking rectangle, so I'm just stretching it out a little bit more so it looks a little bit more even. All right. Now, before we put our sharks in, we need to attract our sharks, right? What do sharks like? Sharks like blood. So if you want to do this part, this can be a little gross for some people, but that's what our Pop Rocks are for, is it's supposed to kind of look like blood that sharks are attracted to. So I'm going to take some Pop Rocks here, and I am going to sprinkle them around in my ocean to attract my sharks. So maybe put some little groupings of red in some areas. Little groups here, little groups there. You know, I had a couple of packages of Pop Rocks, but looking at this, I think I won't need more than one. In fact, I might have an extra container here that I can just eat, which is fun too. So, a little bit more on the Pop Rocks, and then I am going to place my sharks. So, put my gummy sharks here in a little container. And now you can just place your sharks around kind of randomly, and we're going to kind of push them in so that when the candy melts, when they harden up, our sharks will be kind of embedded in them. So you can make your sharks just go whatever direction you want. You can make them kind of random. You can try to like maybe bend them. I don't know if they'll stay, but give it a try. I'm going to try to bend one of mine. They can go all different directions here. For the sharks, I bought a pound of gummy sharks at the candy store, and that seems to be just fine. That might even be too many too, so I might have some extra gummy sharks to snack on when I am done making these too. I wasn't quite sure how many these are pretty big ones too. It depends on what kind of sharks you find. You know, yours might be smaller or bigger than mine. But mine are pretty big, so I can't fit an awful lot onto mine. If you have smaller sharks, you might be able to put them all over the place. And if you want to, if you feel like at the end that you need a few more Pop Rocks on here, feel free to decorate however you would like. And then I'll show you my finished creation here. So I'm going to hold onto my parchment paper so it doesn't fall. So can you see? I've got my sharks. There you go. Now, our candy is not ready yet. Our candy is still very melty, and we want it to harden up. You could just, if your house is fairly cool and you have air conditioning, and you could just leave it out on the counter and let it harden. Or if you want to harden it a little bit quicker, you could put it in the fridge or even the freezer. Now, if you put it in the freezer, I warn you that it may get really, really hard to cut. When we get done here, we're going to kind of cut them into pieces. So I'm going to come back as soon as mine hardened. I think I'm going to put mine in the fridge to speed things up, and I'll see you back here in just a minute. I am back, and I've let my candy sit for a little while. I did put it in the fridge just to speed things up a little bit, but I didn't leave it in there too long because I don't want it to be too hard to cut. At this stage, you'll need just a butter knife, okay? You shouldn't need anything stronger than that to cut it. And we're just going to kind of make random cuts in it. Again, if you're not comfortable even with a butter knife, you might want to have an adult help you with this part. We will be cutting. And we're not going to make even pieces, like even squares. We're just going to kind of cut kind of free form around these guys and see if we can get some interesting shapes. This looks like it's going to cut pretty good. What I'm doing is just kind of putting my knife in and pressing down a little bit and getting it to cut into pieces. After I cut out my shark pieces, I put them on another plate here for serving. So you can see that they each have an individual piece with a shark on it, and they turned out really cute. I'll show you up close kind of here what one looks like. There you go. So you can see the shark swimming in the water, and of course it has our red accents around the shark. So this is a really cute and fun treat to make for any time, or if you're having a shark themed party or for Shark Week or whatever. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you give it a try, and thank you so much for joining me for this segment of Kids Can Cook. Take care, and bye for now.